Well, that would be because this isn't actually a police station. A police station has to deal with everyone. I can tell you where the nearest one is, he replied. I've already been there. I've been to all the local police stations and they sent me here. Now they've sent me away as well. Why? He asked. Why what? Have you been to all the neighbouring police stations? And who are you, exactly? She asked. Cross thought this was a perfectly legitimate question. I'm DS George Cross of the Major Crime Unit, he replied. Oh, good. You're just the person I need to talk to then. My name is Sandra Wilson and my daughter has been murdered, she said, matter-of-factly. Why this had been of no interest to all the desk sergeants in the area was exactly what intrigued Cross and led to him inviting her back into the building to his office. It was possible she had mental health issues, he thought, though if she had, she was hiding them well. As they walked into the MCU reception, police staffer Alice Mackenzie was leaving, her day finished. Good night, DS Cross, she said politely. Towel, he replied. Mackenzie stopped in her tracks, swiveled round and said to his disappearing back, What? Towel, Cross repeated. She looked at the woman walking up the stairs with Cross and saw that she was soaking wet. She sighed and went back into the building in search of a towel. She had become used to his often peremptory-sounding instructions by now and didn't take offence, most of the time. She couldn't help smiling, though, as she heard the desk sergeant calling after Cross futilely. He was, presumably, wondering what Cross was doing, taking the woman who'd been sitting in reception for the last 3 days, and who himself had escorted off the premises at lunchtime, back into the building. This was classic Cross. He was Marmite to most of his colleagues at the MCU. They either liked him or loathed him. There was no in-between. He often came across as rude, difficult, or plain obtuse. But it wasn't intentional. George Cross was on the spectrum, which sometimes made him a little challenging to work with. But it was also his gift. It was what made him an extraordinary detective. Cross took his time going through the slim file of documents Sandra Wilson had given him. Mackenzie had decided to invite herself to the meeting, if indeed that was what it was, as she'd said that it might make Sandra feel more comfortable. Cross wasn't entirely sure why this was, but was too tired to take her up on it. For her part, Mackenzie had quietly congratulated herself on being a little more assertive with Cross recently, and proving her value to him. She joined the force the year before and, despite her initial qualms, was loving the job more and more each day. She was also beginning to see where she could be of use to Cross, which helped. Making others at their ease with him was one of those occasions, unless, of course, she had determined that a degree of discomfort was what Cross wanted for his interlocutor. She made small talk with Sandra as Cross concentrated on the file. He finally looked up and cut across their conversation completely, as if it wasn't even taking place. The coroner has determined that your daughter died on the 17th of June this year from an accidental overdose. There was a post-mortem, and the toxicology report clearly confirms his finding. Your daughter Felicity, Flick, Sandra interrupted. We called her Flick. Your daughter, Flick, had a long, troubled history of drug abuse, several unsuccessful stays in rehab. There's a detailed statement from her psychologist, Dr. Sutton, Sandra volunteered, saying that she had been a suicide risk in the past. It all points to a tragic death, Mrs. Wilson, self-inflicted, whether deliberately or not. Anyone reading this report would come to the same inevitable conclusion, which is, I imagine, the reaction you received from the various police stations you visited. She did not kill herself, deliberately or otherwise, Sandra said. Sometimes these things are hard to accept, particularly